right, welcome to River Talk. This is the River's Edge Radio Network with some mixed news. Mixed feelings. There's a new music venue opening in Pittsburgh, so that's great. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. It's going to be a really interesting venue, I think. I'm excited to check it out. I, of course, Brian Crawford, received early access, as I often do, because I'm a big shot in the music scene. You know how that is, Jay, when you get invited to all of these things before they open.
Exactly. I'm big on the comedy scene,
exactly.
So of course.
You do it. Well, we'll bring in you one sec, because we're going to introduce Jess Paul as well here in a few minutes. And, yeah, big news. Big music venue opening. It's going to be in Squirrel Hill. It's an old movie theater that they've converted into a concert venue, which is fantastic. I think it's going to be great acoustically. But on the downside, we've lost an iconic venue here in Pittsburgh.
And which one is that?
Nied's Hotel is closing down in Lawrenceville after nearly 80 years.
Wow.
80 years. It's almost gone.
I did read about that.
And it's touching to me personally. I have a little bit of a history there. We had my 100th episode. This is before you were on every week. It was the 100th episode of River Talk. We did it live at Nied's Hotel, which is actually the name of a program, a video program that Mr. Slim Forsyth, fantastic country musician, had put together that was up for an Emmy award. They almost won an Emmy. And I was able to play at Nied's Hotel, live from Nied's Hotel. It was great. Fantastic place. Jim Neid, the owner, is a great guy. He's so accommodating, wonderful people. Slim's an incredible guy. He's a really interesting guy. I love how the paper put it, where they said he's a lawyer turned bus driver turned country music star.
I do like
which
that.
Is so true. Slim is just one of the most genuine people, and Jim Neid is a great guy as well. It's one of those old school bars. I was down there with Vincent Didiano, a local comedian, and we're sitting there at the bar, and Vincent's saying, fuck, 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 fuck. He keeps going, and it's just the way he talks. And Jim Neid, because he's an old-time guy, and it's an old-time bar, he said, hey, watch the language. And I had to keep telling Vincent to simmer down a little before I threw Vincent out with myself, because I didn't want to ruin that relationship. But we're going to play a song. We're going to start the show off with some music, which we usually don't do. We usually have maybe a few songs to break things up.
Okay.
But with Nied's Hotel on its way out, I feel like there's only so much I can say about it, but Slim Forsyth, the man who lives there, he moved into Nied's Hotel. He lives above the place. He wrote a song about Nied's Hotel, and I think we should play that just to honor.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Honor the place. It's a great song. It's a little song we're gonna play here and remember Nied's Hotel, which is a great space. It's gonna be really sad for the country scene in Pittsburgh, because the country scene really that was one of their venues, and there's not a lot of venues that have a lot of country music here in Pittsburgh. And what I love about the country scene here in Pittsburgh is it's a classic country scene. It's not one of those poppy, singing about a truck and a dog and drinking your beer, generic, boring, bland-ass country song.
You just shot down all the country music I like. Okay, so you're saying that this country music is better than all?
Yes, it's much better. It's real.
Now I definitely want to hear it now.
It's not something that... There's a video. Look it up. It's on YouTube. It shows all of these different country songs, and it's literally the exact same lyrics, the exact same music, paired up right next to each other, just at different speeds. When you slow and speed them up, they're literally the exact same song that some mass record company puts out there.
If it ain't broke, no, I'm kidding.
It is broke. That's the problem. It's terribly, terribly broke. But let's play the song.
Yes.
Because I think it's a great song. It really just shows how much Nied's meant to so many people. It's an establishment that was there for almost 80 years, known for their fish sandwich. Opens at 7 a.m., or at least it opened at 7 a.m., which is a wonderful thing for someone like me who works overnight and is looking for a drink after work. So I'm going to miss it in their amphitheater outside. We'll get into that. After this song, we'll bring Jess Paul in, who's our guest today. We'll introduce her. We'll talk a little bit more about Nied's Hotel. And then, of course, we have the Cooper's Corner. We have the Hoodrat of the Week and much more. This is River Talk. I'm Brian Crawford. That's Jay Cooper. This is the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music. And this is Down on My Knees at Nied's Hotel.
Please welcome back to the stage, or perhaps I should say, please welcome to the space between the cooler and the Pennsylvania lottery machine. Molly Alphabet. I just love the job that Molly does on this beautiful duet with me, and here's a song I wrote about where I'm from now, Pittsburgh in general and Lawrenceville in particular. Song about heartache, love, sickness, and redemption, entitled Down on My Knees at Neid's Hotel Again. Last night I sang my heart out at the Thunderbird Cafe. We must have played 'em every song we know, and a couple we don't know. The folks all clapped and hollered, but when my work was done, I was standing in a crowded room alone.
So I hitched a ride to Morningside with a fiddler from Point Breeze. Took the shortcut up through Stanton Heights. Then I got up this morning and walked back down that hill and wandered through today until tonight.
And now I'm down on my knees at Neid's Hotel again, praying for the strength to stay alone. Praying for the grace to heed the truth I know so well. Down on my knees at Neid's Hotel. You know, dear friends, a great American songwriter, Stephen Collins Foster, was born and raised around Neid's Hotel. And he's laid to rest just about a half-mile down the road. And that graveyard's good for walking and spotting white-tailed deer. There's a footpath through the woods that takes me home.
Precious Lord, you told the heavy laden you'd come to give them rest. When will this restless longing let me be? Is there nothing short of dying to ease my aching heart? When will your words of comfort me?
Because I'm down on my knees at Neid's Hotel again, praying for the strength to stay alone. Praying for the grace to heed the truth I know so well. Down on my knees at Neid's Hotel. Down on my knees at Neid's Hotel. Down on my knees at Neid's Hotel.
That's Down on My Knees at Neid's Hotel by Jim Forsyth, and also Molly Alphabet was in with that as well. Love that song, love that place.
It was catchy.
It's
Very
catchy, and it's amazing that a place has reached out to so many people. Slim Forsyth wrote a song about it. He moved there. There's an entire band that's called the Neid's Hotel Band that plays all over
Nice.
Pittsburgh. They've just reached so many people. I know the Turbosonics, that's a place that really is important to them as well. So it's going to be missed. It's going to be sorely missed, I think, and it's definitely a sad day for the Pittsburgh music scene in that regard. But again, it's a mixed bag. We've got a new venue as well coming to Squirrel Hill, and I don't know that there's really that many music venues that I could think of out in Squirrel Hill. None that I go to, at least, that often.
None that I know of.
So at least none that are a big venue,
Right,
like a former
right.
movie theater. So let's welcome Jess Paul. She's here in
Yes.
studio.
Hey guys.
Jess,
Thank
how are
you
you
for having
today?
me.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
doing good. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Have you ever been to Need's Hotel?
I haven't. I've heard the name thrown around town a whole lot. I have a friend, Mike Shear. He used to play with Sheer Element there, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, the name's definitely been thrown around, but I've never been.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a weird little music venue because the bar is not set up for live music at all, the way it's built. It's a bar that's been around for over 70 years. It's probably not much bigger than, like, if you were to take this wall out of the studio, it's probably not much bigger than this space. And they literally just put a lighting fixture up in the wall, put out some microphones, and put in an amp, and turned it into a music venue. But they really went all out. In the other room where they have a dining area, they have TVs, and you can actually watch what's being performed in the other room on the TVs while you're eating. So it opens up the space for a lot of people to come in and enjoy it. But it's really just a unique venue. The Squirrel Hill venue is opening up. I'm really excited about that. Can you think of any other venues out that way that are really that
No,
prominent?
I was actually thinking about that myself. When I think of like Need's Hotel and it being like 70 years old, I think like it sounds like it was a little speakeasy. Was that what it was like? How was it decorated?
It was, so they had a big sign
Yeah.
that said it was the #1 fish sandwich in Pittsburgh, and that's what they were known for.
I remember that.
Actually, I really regret
Yeah.
not going there now because that sounds amazing.
It was great. They had so many great food options and at such great prices. And he was really big into the local beers. He was really a big fan of Iron City, and that was one of the big things that
Yes.
Jim Neid always talked about, was having Iron City there and drinking Iron City. But it's just so cool.
I bet you he had my favorite beer. Remember that one that I liked, the one that got discontinued?
Oh, that's right. He probably did have it there at some point. Yeah.
that
What was it again? It was like an Iron City lime.
It was
or
no, it
something.
was like a red. I can't remember what it was called, but it was cinnamon flavored.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Ooh, that's unique.
Cinnamon flavored
So-
beer. It was so good.
Something I would absolutely hate.
Discontinued.
I would absolutely hate that as somebody who has no tolerance for anything that's sweet
Right.
in any regard. You know that. I have no sweet tooth at all.
That's true. I think you would have liked this one though. I don't know. I think you would have liked it.
I feel like I would have hated it. But we'll get into that. We'll get into more of the music news with the different venues coming. I'm really excited about the Marquee. It's called the Marquee out in Squirrel Hill. Nathan Jaye's already booked it with Standard Broadcast for this year's Indie Rock Fest, which will be the second Saturday in April.
Nice.
But he hasn't seen it yet. I feel like that would be hard to book a venue when you haven't seen it yet. I would need to
Book
see
the
it.
venue he hasn't seen.
People are booking it. People are calling out to this place in Squirrel Hill and booking the
I
venue.
mean,
They
if
haven't
it
even.
gets buzz, you're going to want to play there. Be one of the first.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
I mean, you do anything in Squirrel Hill, people are going to show up, right?
I don't know. Is that the case?
I don't know. I see people in Squirrel Hill get involved in stuff all the time.
Yeah, it is a pretty hopping place.
Yeah, I like it there. So let's roll right into the Cooper's Corner.
Yes.
Do we have the music?
We can do the
Let's
music.
do the music.
Real quick.
You keep trying to scare it off on the music, but that's people like the music.
Cooper's Corner. Cooper's Corner. Cooper's Corner. Cooper's Corner. Yeah. Now, something that happened a couple months ago, which I heard about, but I kind of like put it behind me. They had a No Shave November, which was an interesting hashtag that was going on in social media. And now that we are in the new year, going into January, we have a new hashtag called January.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is January?
January is something where the women are being, well, they're being asked to let their body hair grow out. We're talking armpits. We're talking legs.
Now, No Shave November is for charity. Is this for any kind of
This
charitable
one,
cause?
this one is a charity too. It's
Oh.
it's a charity. It's being supported by Body Gossip's education program, and the charity, it empowers basically everybody to be the best version of themselves and rock their own brand of gorgeous. So basically, this is like Europe in 2019, because basically people in Europe are already rocking the hairy bodies and
Oh.
stuff. This is nothing new overseas, but you know how America is. We're so taboo about certain things. Things have to be a certain way and stuff. But it's trending, and there are women out there, and they're taking pictures. They're posting it on Facebook, Instagram, showing it all. Armpits.
Wow, there's got to be some things that they don't allow on Facebook.
I know, right? If they do, they'll probably censor the heck out of it. But there is some interesting stuff being shown on there. And hey, kudos to the ladies out there. taking this as an opportunity to accept themselves for exactly who they are. So, hey, more power to you if you're into that kind of stuff. I mean, I have a fetish for certain things. I don't know if
What kind of show is this?
I know, right? Well, this is
anything goes.
This is the weird news segment. This is-
Anything
gotcha.
goes.
yeah,
Anything
you gotta
goes.
talk about stuff that's and
have to
I'm
understand.
not trying to call out the ladies out there for being weird. I'm sorry.
You
know,
have to understand, Jess, on
just-
this show, we are so welcoming. We've had everybody from a pastor to a prostitute. We've had
Ooh,
everybody.
that would be fun to have them in the same room.
That would have
at the
been
same
great.
Time.
Yeah, that would
Oh,
have
a
been
hairy
fantastic.
prostitute. That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting. We've had
would've got a lot of
U.S.
money.
House representatives too. We actually had a woman dressed up as Trump in drag. So
Yes.
Oh man.
yeah, so we've literally explored it all
That's fun.
We
in
have done it all.
nearly 300 episodes. So we're coming up on we've got episode 300 coming up in March 6th. We're gonna actually
Congratulations.
Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be live at Hambones in Lawrenceville, which I think is the perfect room
I've
for a
been there.
podcasting event. Yeah. Now that room, would you agree that for a podcasting event, that is the perfect size?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so intimate, and it's the stage is the right size. It's not huge. You're not up on a pedestal. You're right down
Right, it's
there with the
cozy.
people.
It's going to be real cozy for everybody.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about this 300th event. We're going to be doing a 2-hour special of this program and a couple other talk programs before that as well. We're going to be bringing back guests who we've had from over the years, and it's going to be really, really wild.
Kind of
So-
a best of kind of show. That's nice.
kind of in a way. It's weird. It's going to be like a best of show, but we're not going to go back and play clips
Got
that we've
it.
done
Yeah.
throughout the years. It's all going to be fresh, new content. We're going to ask people their perceptions of the old studio we had. We started in a closet attic, and we're going to ask people about that. We're trying to bring
I was
back.
there for that.
Yeah, you were there for that, and it was pretty grueling, wasn't it? Especially the heat. You think it's hot in here with the heat up? You have no idea. It was,
Insulation everywhere, sitting on a futon, holding sharing a microphone.
yeah.
That
Oh,
was
that's cute.
Yeah. It was pretty awful. I almost passed out several times from the heat. Because
Well,
it was
I
over.
mean, you were in. I mean, that was the tightest. I wouldn't even call that a. Was that a closet that you?
Yeah.
Was in? I swear it looked like a crawl space. But you was able to get a desk in there.
Two
and-
desks.
Yeah, you got 2 desks. You had your computer out there, and you were doing your thing. And kudos to you, because I couldn't have fit in there.
I was just like, I mean, it was
couldn't do it.
probably over 100 degrees in that studio at a lot of times.
my God,
and
wow.
It
you've got
was.
all of the equipment surrounding you
Yeah.
while you're trying to talk. And it was a 2-hour program. I did a 2-hour program back then instead of a 1-hour program.
Oh, okay.
And I was there, and there were certain times where I would just start swaying back and forth
Oh
because I was literally ready to pass out from heat exposure. I was cooking in there. You could have turned me over. I was well done. So, but we made it. We're here.
Yeah.
And we're coming up to episode 300. That's going to be, again, on the 6th of March.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be great. So you've got some big changes coming up.
I
Jess.
do.
So you've had a long time show that's been running, and that was Rect Radio, and you did a lot of great interviews with musicians and things like that.
That's
and
right.
you're transitioning into a completely new format. You're moving as well across
Yeah.
the country. So was it hard for you to stop doing the Rect Radio?
Actually, it was absolutely necessary. So, one video that I want to do in the near future, I have an entire Word document of different kinds of videos I want to make, just subjects I've thought of over time. And I don't know if I don't know how much YouTube you watch, but from time to time, you'll watch one of your favorite YouTubers talk about burnout. They'll be gone for a long time, and
Okay.
then they'll have this discussion in this apology with their viewers, and they'll talk about how they got really burnt out. So that's precisely what happened to me with Rect Radio. I was doing it for 5 years, and it was the same redundant format. I was talking about the same stuff at 23 years old that I started talking about at 19 years old. I had changed a lot. So eventually it just came down to I was interested in other stuff. I wanted to move up. I wanted to do different things. And when you do a YouTube show, you're your own boss. You're driving everything about it, the marketing, the video production, the format, everything. And in some ways, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's really great to be your own boss. But when you keep having to excel above yourself every single time, it gets very daunting and stressful, especially when you don't have the regular business hours that you do even at an office.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's tough. I
It's
know.
the rewards and the consequences.
Yeah,
rather
I
than
can
one.
definitely relate to that. So we
grind.
had the Millville Music Minute, the first one of the year, and that was last night. So I'm at work on my break. So I start work at 11. I don't go on break until like 4 a.m. I just work straight through, and then I take a long break. So I'm up there on the long break. I have like a half an hour, and I'm editing the show remotely. I'm tapping into this computer here in the station from a computer down on the north side, which I'm getting the internet from a mobile hotspot on my phone to edit the stuff, because otherwise I fall behind. And
Sure.
you don't understand how that is when you're your own boss, as you say, and you have to do other things to eat
Yes,
and pay for all of this
that is
stuff.
another part of it. For
Yeah,
sure.
then you have to do crazy things like that. But we get it done, right?
I mean, if you want, like in this day and age, like whenever people or older people start to complain about millennials, which I think we all would fall into, I
God.
think. Like, I just kind of remind them, like, I actually have 5 different jobs that I do. And
Yes.
some are my passions, some keep me afloat financially. Because we literally have to make our own job, some of us. So it looks like we don't have jobs because we're not going to the same office from 9 to 5 every single day.
Yeah.
Because I'm a freelancer as the day job. I'm a graphic designer and I work in marketing.
Nice.
And I can either work from home or I have to go to offices. And then sometimes, I'm working on my show that pays me nothing right now, but it's what I want to do.
That's how it is.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
I think we all are
Yep.
going through that.
Relatable.
Yeah, well, I am somebody who gets irate when I hear people complain about millennials and how they don't work and things like that, because the credit card generation, our parents' generation, and the baby boomers who charged their happiness on the backs of their children have no room to complain because we can't figure out how to clean up their mess.
Yeah.
And
I
it
didn't even
is-
want a credit card, but I heard that you kind of need one to,
Yeah,
buy
you do.
some expensive things. So
Well, you know what? It's funny because when I was younger, I wasn't very frugal or intelligent in the way that I spent my money.
Me either.
So I canceled all of my credit cards, and I got the Credit Karma app, and that's the one thing they said that was a negative on my credit report. They said that you don't have a credit card.
Oh my
So
God.
you're right.
Yeah,
It
that's
actually
right.
it'll negatively affect your score if you don't have a credit card, which is wild. That's so
Yeah.
stupid.
They're,
That is
they're
funny.
making us go into debt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've done that myself. I mean, the first credit card I got was a Capital One. I was 21 years old. My dad finally let me have it. He held on to it for a while when I had my first apartment, and then he gave it to me. And immediately I used the card, and I had a hard time paying it back. And
Well,
it
that's
got
what
bad.
happens.
So I pretty much damaged my credit. Because that was the whole point of having a credit card was to build credit.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I already messed it up right away.
Yeah.
And it took years to get it back. And how did I do it? I had to get a credit card.
Well,
I had to get a credit card to rebuild the debt that
my
I
God.
damaged, not to mention from the student loans. Don't get me started on that.
Don't get me
But-
started. This
right?
will be too long of a show.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Fia, Sarah, Sally Mae. Don't get me started on them.
It's so
But-
challenging because whenever you don't make any money, you get into a bind. Something breaks on your car, and what do? You pull out the credit card, but then you don't make enough money to pay it off. That's
I know,
part of the
right?
problem.
It's a
So it's
Yeah,
just
when is
it's a
this-
cycle.
When is this pay increase gonna start soon?
What pay increase?
You know how the politicians have been rallying and talking about how they wanted to up minimum wage. So
Oh,
if they-
that'll never
So if they
happen
raise
until-
minimum wage, that means other people's wages will go up. And I'm
Not
thinking-
necessarily.
Well, I would hope that. Well, not everybody, but I would hope that
I remember. So, I'm in favor of well, this is completely random. I'll end on this point, and then we'll get back into what we're
Okay.
talking about.
All right.
I'm in favor of a minimum wage increase, but not unless you put some strings into it as well. Because I remember whenever I was working for Kmart, and they rose minimum wage, and they didn't raise it enough, but they rose it a little bit. And there were people who had been at Kmart for years, and all of a sudden now they're making minimum wage. And people who just
Yeah.
walked in the door are making the same amount as they are.
Oh, I know
And it
that
was-
pissed them off.
And it was it's an insult to
Yeah.
those people. And then inflation goes up with it, and now all of a sudden you have a larger poor class than you did before the minimum wage increase. So I'm in favor of raising minimum wage to meet inflation, but it needs to come with some sort of inflation control as well. You can't just arbitrarily pick a number and expect the CEOs to be good guys. And you know what? I'll take the hit. No
Right.
big deal. We'll take the hit, and we'll make sure that everyone's taken care of. That the reason why these people are underpaid is because these people who are running these companies are assholes to begin with. They're not just going to all of a sudden see the ghost of Christmas past and come out and decide to give everyone a raise.
I like
and
how
take
you.
the-
I like how
the
you
cut.
mentioned Kmart because Kmart is going under.
Well, that's because
And
it's run by a moron,
right,
in my opinion.
And then I read about Sears.
Well, they're the same company.
because Sears owns
yeah.
Kmart.
Well, actually, it's the other way around.
it's the other way.
It's the
around?
other way around.
Okay,
yeah.
because so the person who wrote the article messed it up. Then.
Well,
okay. So
It's called Sears Holdings, but it was Kmart Holdings Corporation, and it was Sears Roebuck and Company. So they took part of each name and combined it when they merged the two. They said it was an equal merger, but it's really, if you want to know what it is, it's one gentleman or one asshole, in my opinion, who's really rich, who purchased both of them.
Okay.
Purchased Kmart first, then he purchased Sears, and then he ran the company into the ground.
yeah. So now they're filing Chapter 11, which it sucks.
But Jess Paul is not running her brand into the ground. In fact,
No,
she
she
is
is
making
not.
some huge changes in her life. So you're moving on from Rec Radio, which was very music focused.
Yeah, it basically surrounded that one topic of specifically like pop punk, fueled by ramen. Like what do you call that category? Basic kind of music. Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. We covered Paramore. Yeah, that was like my childhood, and it was a lot of people's childhood, and even to this day. So basically, my new show is called This is Jess Paul. Pretty basic because that's what all of my social media handles are. So it's like, let's just get right to the point. And it's encompassing so many things that I had to keep it pretty basic. So the way that this show goes, if I'm not jumping too much ahead, I basically wanted to see what everybody really wanted to watch from me because I'm interested in so many things. Like I could name like half a dozen.
Yeah.
So I bought this game show wheel off of Amazon.
Nice.
And I basically created this wheel that I would spin, and it would basically land on all these different subjects that I really love
love
to
the
talk about.
concept. It's such a unique idea.
I've
I don't
never
know-
heard of it before, yeah.
No, I don't know if I've ever seen it before either. And I
on
love the
YouTube.
concept, and I completely relate to what you're talking about because this show is so diverse for that same reason. Because we're diverse people, we're interesting, and I feel like talk shows don't have to be so singularly focused. Everything now is politics or it's sports, and that's all it is. And the person will go on the radio and talk about Trump tweets for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And get people to call in to give their thoughts on the Trump tweets. And then they agree with them. And then they go to the next caller. And the next caller comes in and says what he thinks about the Trump tweets. And then the host agrees with him as well. And he goes on and on and on. And in sports, my goodness, they just drone about the same thing. And they just make up stuff to talk about because there is only so much you can talk about when it comes to sports. So I get it. Yeah. And to me, the best hosts are ones that are diverse. So I really think that this direction is a great move for you.
And it's YouTube, when you have a YouTuber that's really popular, they often create like a couple different YouTubes, like a vlog, a secondary channel, and a main. And I'm never ever going to do that again because that's way too much work. If somebody doesn't really like a topic that I have that week, they're like free to skip it. But I also encourage like just watch it and see if you're interested because so basically in the order that it went, first it landed, I've only done about, I think I'm on my 4th week now, and it was audience choice, and they picked Rec Radio. I have that on the wheel just in case for a throwback, but everybody picked that, which is
Of course, 'cause
understandable.
you're known for that,
Yeah, like a lot of the people that are there already, that's why they were there in the first place. So we did a little throwback, one for the fans. The next one was art, because that's my day job. Like I actually went to school for that. That's the only thing I can really call myself a professional of, and the rest is just DIYing my way to the top.
Okay.
So I went over my high school sketchbook and showed how you could get better, like within the amount of a year, like if you can just keep drawing and drawing. And I basically went from like one of my worst drawings to something that I'm really known for, which is this picture of like Jack Sparrow. Everybody loves it.
Nice.
And then it went to, I think, my story time, right? Yeah. And so I basically talked a little bit about how it was being an actor and my worst audition ever. And I just hoped it was really fun for all the viewers to get to know me a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think because you're a great personality that people will jump onto this show, because I have often said, and I truly believe this, if the host is a quality host and the host is entertaining, people will listen to things that they are not interested in.
I agree.
And I always talk about the show on Amazon with the people from Top Gear. They left Top Gear and they started the Grand Tour. I don't really care about cars.
Sure.
I don't have that much of an interest in cars, but I watch the show religiously. And to this day, they've been off for a while, and I constantly am looking at my Fire Stick TV and waiting for that show to come back out because they're so funny and they're so entertaining, and the way that they interact with one another is so great. So if the host is good, someone will be willing to listen to something that maybe they're not interested in because they're interested in your personality and they're interested in you as a human being.
YouTube never, drove that point home more. Like when it comes to YouTube, you're not only looking for something to entertain you, you're looking for a friend. Like a lot of these audience members, they want someone that they can relate to. They can literally sit in their bedroom with them late at night with no makeup on, and talk about like their troublesome day. Like one person I really love a lot, who's in a little bit of controversy right now, is Gabby Hanna of the Gabby Show. And what I found was there was a couple different inspirations for starting up the show again, and a couple different reasons I made it the way I did. Okay. And my story time, little pizza slice, was because of her. And I basically came onto her episodes, and I'm like, I don't know who she's talking about right now, who she's telling this dramatic story about, but I keep wanting to listen. I want to just grab a popcorn and listen to her rant, and that's just the fun of it. So
yeah, I imagine in some ways it's similar to talk radio. Talk radio is very much a conversation, and people listen in and they get used to hearing the same person every day, and they feel like they're part of their life.
It's very similar,
especially with traditional talk radio where they're on 5 days a week and you tune into the same person every single day, and especially when you get into AM stations where you'll hear the same callers every day calling
interesting.
in. Yeah, and having this conversation with the host, and they think they know the hosts, which is interesting. And I think the difference between online media and terrestrial radio is in online media we actually are interested in the people who are listening, and in terrestrial radio, if you catch them off air, they are just annoyed with the people that they have to deal with and the people who call in.
No, I mean, it kind of translates. Like when it comes to YouTube, I remember watching Jenna Marbles and her saying this one time that she would run into fans in the street because she's one of the most subscribed to YouTubers in the entire world. So people would recognize her, and it's so uncomfortable because there are those boundaries that you have as a human being, those basic, like that bubble. And this person comes up to you like they know everything about you.
Yeah.
They know all of your secrets. They know your personality like they are your friend, but it can be scary. You don't know who these people are. And I suppose because I was in that mindset when I was younger that, if you were a celebrity and you're walking down the street, I felt that you kind of deserved to have all the attention, and you had to live with that if you didn't like it, because that's kind of what came with the territory. I was of that same mindset, even though I wanted to be an actor. But if you kind of put yourself in their shoes, like, could you imagine just every day, like walking down the streets of Pittsburgh, say, and somebody just randomly comes up to you and tries to talk to you when you're on your way to somewhere, and like you're scared, you have no idea who these people are, and they act like they know you. It could be really scary.
Well, you get used to it when you're a big shot like we are. And I know you probably experienced that too, Jess. I mean, people are stopping us all the time. I can't even walk through the strip district.
I've actually gotten recognized a couple times from rec radio, which is mind-blowing. Like
it is cool,
in front of strangers,
isn't it?
like not even in like the context of being in the show. A couple times I was from like somebody I didn't mention on the show, but we are right next door to Mr. Smalls right now, and I did about like 70-80% of my interviews in that venue.
Oh wow!
So I might run into somebody who was actually going to the show that night, and they go, "Jess Paul." I'm like, I'm on YouTube. How do you know me? Like,
yeah.
I have 17,000 subscribers, and you're one of them. Really, I ran into one of them in the whole wide world. Like, that's crazy.
For me, it's a little bit easier because
17,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
No, that's nothing. What's funny about that is that used to be a big number. Like when I was on Rec Radio, it was like, oh, I'm a successful YouTuber, and nowadays people are pulling in like 8 million. I mean, let's not even start on like PewDiePie or anything, but like. People are pulling in like millions and millions of subscribers, and
But still, 17,000. I mean, that's
it's still impressive.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to talk about as a local. Yeah.
Well, I feel like with me, I do get a lot of facial recognition. People see me and know who I am. But
sure.
Oh yeah, you're all over the place.
Well, I was gonna say we're so locally focused.
Sure.
Our entire audience, for the most part, is based out of the Pittsburgh metropolitan area. So it's a little bit different where you have fans from all over the world, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a much less chance of me running into them all the time.
Yeah, whereas here, we may have a smaller fan base, but they're all right here.
Congregated in one area.
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier to sell ads, though, because
I know, right?
You can go to the local places and be like, all right, we know our audience. They'll know about you. They know where your place is. So that's fantastic.
So all
but
we need is just some fans with money that are willing to just put into this.
we have fans from all different economic situations.
No. I mean putting in money. Lots of money.
Saying
To
giving
help.
us money?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll take it.
Yes. That's what I'm
I'll
talking
take
about.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take your guys' money.
Right? Yeah, money's great.
I ain't got nothing on me right now.
So you're moving to LA for an acting career.
Yeah. It's kind of a cliche, I know. Like, even when I say that out loud, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the moving to LA thing. And it's just kind of what you need to do. Pittsburgh is a great market to get started. I will always be for people using their local market, their small market, to do indie films, to do student films. And I've literally reached the kind of like the maximum place where I've, been successful here, the most that I could do. Like, I was in a movie that went to Sundance. I was in, I think, 3 features here. There's a couple still about to come out. And so you're kind of always crossing your fingers. But if you want to maximize out on how much you can do, you should be auditioning like at least every week. And I can only audition like even with my own agency just a couple times a year because that's just how many gigs there are. Like, forget like actually winning those gigs, but the ones that are actually asking for people to come audition, like we only have a handful of opportunities. Like, we have 2 agencies here. 2.
Wow.
2 agencies in Pittsburgh. Do you know how many there are in LA?
Probably tons.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Hundreds or thousands. Like,
Wow.
The difference is just staggering. So basically the goal, like if you could just try to give yourself a short-term goal as an actor, you at least just want to be auditioning more, and I could continue to audition for like my friends' works and my like the kind of like the indie stuff, but I mean, you can only do so much. I've found some amazing, amazing people here, and I literally hope that they, can call me back. Ben Wilson and we just did this film called Galatea, and I was trying to get a clip, but we don't have anything yet.
It sounds like a sci-fi.
Oh, it is. It is actually.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So basically, I play 2 characters. I play Kim, who's kind of this meek, shy voice actress. I'm in my element right now, and she's basically going in for a job where she thinks she's going to be a voice actor, but actually like for a video game. But there's more in store. She's kind of going to be the template for an artificial intelligence. Okay. So it gets pretty creepy on the likeness of the. She's not there's no robot. Well, there are robots, yes. Okay. But it's basically an artificial brain that she's helping to map out. And we've got that in the works, and I'm so excited for it. And like I've told Ben, if he needs me for anything, just call me back.
I was gonna ask, like, what is the goal? What is the main goal? Are we talking like
that's a feature film?
A feature film, like any kind, like a blockbuster, or like
what the goal of LA,
like a comedy, action.
Yeah, well, honestly, an actor wants to make a career out of what they're doing. So they have to be making things all the time, and they have to be kind of getting paid for it. And so when you're in Pittsburgh, you can go audition for a commercial. I can go audition for a commercial with my agency. But that's almost, or I could audition for a tiny part on one of the movies or the television shows, the Netflix shows that come here, where I have a couple lines. For God's sakes, I've auditioned for just bartenders 4 times. I don't know why my agent keeps doing that to me. It's because I put color in my hair that I look like I'm some kind of alternative.
I mean, until you said it, now I can kind of see it.
I barely drink, which is hilarious to me.
That's funny.
But yeah, I've gone out for a lot
Most
of
bartenders don't drink, though.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like I know a lot of bartenders, and most of them do not drink at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I guess because they see what it does to people, and they see the assholes they have to deal with, and they don't want to. Yeah.
But I know I'm going to start out small. When I go to LA, everybody does. There's a huge learning curve. There is that period where you have to network and meet a lot of people. And it's so funny because I had to kind of remember that I was the person giving advice on Pittsburgh. Like on my website, I have articles that I've written on how to navigate your way around Pittsburgh filmmaking and acting. And now I have to go learn from other people and how to do it in a different market because I'm sure there are a lot of things the same, but this this wasn't that difficult. Like it's like the easy level of the big video game, and now it's time to level up.
Sure. I mean, the acting doesn't change, but it's how
Right.
you meet people and network and maneuver yourself through the bureaucracy that exists in that
like,
community.
Exactly.
And I feel like in that community, it's probably much more difficult, even though there's a million different agencies there. Here in Pittsburgh, you have only X amount of people that say, I want to be an actor.
Yeah,
But when you're in LA, everybody that lives there wants to be an actor, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything goes up. The opportunities goes up as well as the competition goes up. So you're basically going from a fish pond to an ocean, and it feels good here. It feels good to have quite a few people know who I am from my work, be able to have networked for years and not have to audition. Like I haven't actually gone on an audition for a couple months.
So that'll be weird for you to get back into that, right?
Oh, I love it. I
Is it-
love auditioning.
Do you think that's going to be challenging to get back into that when you haven't done it? No, because I feel like it's almost like the resume. You've had a job for so many years, you have to update your resume,
Right.
and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, how do I even do this? Because that's been so long.
Because I've acted, but going into the room, honestly, when you go in for an audition, one of my biggest tips is just that you want to make the director and whoever else is there to be as comfortable as possible. Like
Right.
you want to, like, you're nervous, but just don't act like it. Like
Right.
act like you want to be part of their team, because they're not only hiring like the best actor, but the person that they want to work with. So just being very chill, very open and listening and receptive to any comments that they have to make about your performance, have a conversation. Like the longer you can stay in the room and become kind of their initial like friend. I mean, obviously you're going to literally see them for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But it's helpful because and that's legit. It's not a trick. It's literally how people, network and want to work together. Like I love auditioning and actually like doing the acting part of it, but meeting people that you think are really worth your time and who you want to work with is very rewarding.
Well, okay, on the part where you was talking about who you want to work with, the feature film, if you could, any actor, who would it be? Right off the top of your head.
What do you mean?
As far as who would you want to act with?
Oh my God. Actually, I have a couple favorite actors, like the ones that you really like, their names. One of my heroes is Jennifer Love Hewitt. I don't know what she's doing right now, but
Oh my goodness, she's probably still doing Lifetime and
Yeah.
ABC Family type stuff.
I think she had a couple kids, so she's probably doing that right now. But I always fancied myself to be like her in a couple ways and doing the kind of things that I wanted to do. A lot of people give her flack for being just a very, a Lifetime actor or whatever you want to call it, or like even a scream queen. But I watched her show Ghost Whisper when I was a teenager.
That's
and
right, she was in that.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
I forgot
Maybe
about
I'm
that.
a sap, but I literally cried at the end of every single one of those episodes. But she had this thing where, who did she love? I want to say it was Gwyneth Paltrow, but I might be wrong. That she loved Gwen. I think I might be right. She loved Gwyneth so much, and she won for Shakespeare in Love. She won her Oscar in the early 2000s. And so what Jennifer Love Hewitt did was she sent her like a bouquet of flowers after her win and said, congratulations, because she looked up to her for so many years. And so I always thought if Jen ever got nominated for an Oscar, which doesn't look likely,
No, probably
or
not.
something, maybe a Golden Globe, that if I would be in the realm, I could send her a bouquet of flowers and we'd be
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah, she's gonna be playing the mom role type stuff now because she's at that.
Yeah,
age. But
she
she'll,
is.
But she'll play the hot mom though.
Yeah.
Always
she's
the
still,
hot mom.
right? Because she's still.
You know what though?
She's
You
still
could
a good
you could
looking
still
woman.
get out of that though. Betty White, for example, she often plays the old grandmother, but I was watching an episode of The Practice, and here in that episode, she was the nebby neighbor, and she was holding up the murder suspect's family for ransom.
Ooh, juicy
So,
roll.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
That
It
sounds
doesn't
fun.
necessarily matter, if you get old, you could still find, you're going to be playing older characters, and obviously that character in The Practice that she was playing had to have been an older person because it just wouldn't have been as funny
Right.
if it wasn't. But yeah, she was out of the grandma role, and she did fantastic.
Well, that's another interesting thing about, us talking about millennials or younger people or basically DIYers. I'm not only an actor. Since, I started the YouTube thing, even before I started Rec Radio, I was always writing film because basically I wanted to explore what kind of characters I wanted to play. So I wrote 3 feature films for myself, and I got to produce a short here just a couple years ago, and it got on Reverie.tv, which was an LGBT pro streaming network online. It's one of the first, and it's growing every once in a while. It's like growing as time goes on. So it was a great accomplishment, and that's kind of the biggest pipe dream. If I can actually get some money to produce my own films, like that's what I would want to do most, because I can actually play the characters I want to play, not wait for people to cast me.
Why not?
It's great too. It's great to have complete control too.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't, apply for any radio stations. I created
There
one.
you go.
No one can tell me anything.
Wow, so relatable tonight.
Yeah. Definitely a wonderful thing. So real quick, because we only have a few more minutes, let me know what other movies you've been in real quick so people can look you up.
Okay, well, actually, I can give you one quick address, and that would cover it all. JessPaul.net is where all of my stuff is.
JessPaul.net. Y'all got
Pretty
that?
simple. Pretty
JessPaul.net.
simple.
Fantastic.
Yeah, any movies that are available are up there on the video page and all my links and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. That's Jess Paul.
And the YouTube show.
Yes, and the new YouTube show. What's the name of that one more time?
This is Jess Paul.
This is Jess Paul.
So you can
check
type it
that
into
out.
YouTube.
It's
you can
simple.
type it
I
in
like
Facebook.
that.
Yeah, I love it. And I've checked it out. It's fun. I love the wheel. Love the concept. I think it's
see what's
great,
coming next.
Yeah, it's a great direction to go. So congratulations to Jess. We'll keep her on through the end of the show. We're going to do the Hoodrat of the week in a minute.
How is it already the end of the show?
I know, right?
I know. It's been a quick hour.
It happens.
So I do want to address some of the comments that we have here on the Facebook Live feed. Some great comments. Hi, Cinnamon. Cinnamon are one of our most loyal
Hey, Cinnamon.
Friday fans. So thank you so much. Thanks to Ruby as well. And Just Janelle, am I saying that correct?
Yes, Just Janelle, fellow comedian, good friend of mine.
She's here complaining. She doesn't like Slim Forsyth. She's complaining about the country music. She says that's all she hears, which we have very few, very, very, very minimal country music on the station, so I don't know how that's possible. But Slim's fantastic. I'm sorry. Have a drink with Slim.
One song is enough for her.
Maybe. Have a drink with Slim, and you'll change your perspective. I promise you. My sister loves me. Love you too. And
I thought that was your sister. I was like, who is this Julie?
Yeah, so Julie says that the girl could have braided her armpit hair. And she had the like one of those disgusted looks, one of those emojis that look like she's about to barf. So and then she also
and they were all attractive women too, every one of them. But just
so she'd like a River's Edge shirt for the Millville Music Festival. We can maybe look into that. We need some money first. So if anyone knows any advertisers,
pre-orders.
Send us some love there. And Julie also has a couple other comments. She says, if minimum wage would go up, then the people above minimum wage should have their pay go up as much as the minimum wage did, so their hard work is not for nothing, if that makes sense. I think that completely makes sense. And that's
totally.
And that's sort of what I was mentioning before when I worked at Kmart and I saw these poor women who have been there for, because all of the older people at Kmart happen to be women. So, and they had been there forever. They're department managers, things like that. And all of a sudden they're making the same amount as somebody who's walking in the door with no experience, has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
Meanwhile, these women are in charge of managing the entire departments at Kmart. And it was pretty terrible. I thought it was a horrible way to treat a long-term
It's crazy.
employee.
They definitely need to raise it up. I remember, when I worked at Ames, that was back in 1990.
Oh my God, Ames.
Yes, Ames department store. Now, back in 1999, the pay there was $7. $7. So, fast forward now to other department stores.
Well, when did you work at Ames?
99.
See, they actually paid you pretty well then for the time. Because
I know. That was kind of nice.
I'll tell you, when I started at Sears, and that was in 2005, that was my first job.
Okay.
And I had only made $6-something an hour.
Really?
Yeah, so they actually paid you pretty well at Ames, considering the fact that it was
What
6
is
years
minimum
earlier.
wage right now?
$7.75, I think.
Something. I think it's $7.15.
Is
But
it
nobody
still
pays.
$7.15?
But nobody pays that. That's the thing. Nobody pays what minimum wage is because there's such a negative stigma
Right.
for a company to pay minimum wage that almost every company will pay you, even if it's just cents above minimum wage. They'll pay you a little bit more just to say that we're not paying minimum wage.
Right.
Because even when I
Like
worked at Sears,
$8.50, something like that. I see that a lot from low entry people.
which is nowhere near enough.
Hell no, that's not. That's not even close to
I don't know how
$20,000 a year.
people do it.
That's not even close to $20,000 a year. That's
I-
how can you live off that?
Yet you got people like Pat Toomey, who runs for office and tells these people to get a part-time job and pay their way through school, you asshole.
Here
You
you go.
asshole who knows nothing about the real world that we live in.
Here we go.
I'm not going to get into it. If I get into it, this will be another 20-minute show. But that asshole, you know what? I was in his camp because the person he was running up against had so many corruption issues. And then I saw them in a debate, and I saw Pat Toomey go on the stage and say how he paid his way through school, and I almost threw something through the TV. I was irate. I couldn't believe it. I was there working full time, making $12 an hour. I couldn't pay for one class at California University of Pennsylvania, state-funded institution. I couldn't pay for one class working my full-time job, and they're expecting these kids to come out of high school working minimum wage at McDonald's and to pay their way through school, board room, tuition,
Right.
all of that, working at McDonald's. Pat Toomey can kiss my ass. I cannot wait till that guy gets voted out of office. I'll vote for anyone. I'll vote for anyone over Pat Toomey.
Anyone. You
The
hear
guy,
that?
the guy is completely
Somebody get up there and run.
devoid of any common sense.
Yep. You got Brian's vote.
Yeah, you've got my vote. I don't care who you are. You can be a flat-out communist coming in to run against Pat Toomey. At least you probably have a better understanding of the real world that we live in
Yes.
than he does. So, Jay, what do you have coming up? Do you have anything on the horizon?
We're not going to do the...
Oh, yeah. Gosh, we got the Hoodrat of the week.
I was about to say, we got to do that real
Let's
quick.
do it,
real
yeah.
quick, because I know we're getting
got some
down
time.
to the nitty-gritty. Hoodrat of the week. This is stemming down... This happened last weekend in a small town of... actually, it's not a small town. It's a nice suburb of Salinas, California, where a man was caught on camera licking a doorbell for several hours. And the man who was caught on camera is 33-year-old Roberto Daniel Arroyo, who's going to be my Hoodrat of the week. Video footage was taken from a surveillance camera outside the Salinas home owned by the Dungans. And it shows the moment the man licks the doorbell while looking into the camera. So he knew the camera was there, and he's looking right at it while he's licking it. I'm just wondering why he...
Why did he lick it? Does it say?
It didn't say why.
Was it a fetish, or did
It
he...
has to have been a fetish, or there's something mentally wrong with
He
him.
wanted to annoy whoever lived there. Like he's like, whoever presses this doorbell, they're gonna get my spit on them.
Right? And here's the thing. I looked on a couple of websites to do further research on this. This isn't the first house he's done this to. But luckily that this house had a camera to see him do it. And I think the guy just loves a show.
Yeah.
He loves a show. So the reason why people got to see it is because the homeowner, Sylvia Dungan, she posted the footage on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. And warning people in her area or people outside the area for this person. He was being charged with prowling and petty theft, but nothing to get him arrested for. So,
So what, does he have a fine?
Yeah.
What if he doesn't pay the fine? He could get arrested then, right?
Oh, if he gets arrested.
This guy should be arrested.
He got
He's-
some bars he can lick or something. I don't know.
He's spreading his germs to innocent people. You know how I feel about...
no, he had to have gotten the bad end of the stick. Licking a doorbell, that guy's gonna have thrush for like years.
I hope so.
Several
He deserves
Ugh.
it.
And this is when nobody. Yeah, I left this part out. Nobody was in the home when he did it, so that's what made it crazy.
Oh, so he's a wimp.
Maybe
He's
it's
a
like
wimp.
a challenge that like he was trying to lick it without actually ringing the doorbell, see if he could do it, and if anybody came to the door, he knew that he did it a little bit too hard. I can see
Yeah.
a fun
Yeah.
game come out of this.
Oh,
One that I'm not playing.
Well, I will say this. Anytime you lick something for several hours and nobody comes,
Oh my God.
that's bad.
What show is this? What show did I come on?
That means two things. Insider. She caught that right away. That's good. You caught
I mean, when you talked about the hairy January, my mind just, I guess, automatically went to the dirtier place.
Yeah.
Can't put that on Facebook.
Oh, we put it all on there. See, Mark
Yeah, you can put
Zuckerberg...
it on there. It's on there.
See what comes down.
When you have an hour-long show, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have enough time to sit there and watch the whole thing. So,
Good point.
yes.
Oh my God, as if Mark Zuckerberg would have to go through all of the
Can you
flag
imagine?
things.
That should be his...
If
that
he
should be
did,
That
I
should
would've
be
been-
his... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if he did, then I would have been in Facebook jail so many times.
Oh my God.
Over the years.
I feel like that should be his punishment for all of the privacy issues. You know, he keeps testifying before Congress, and I know the UK was trying to bring him before Parliament. Somebody should slap him with an order that he has to personally review these controversial posts and determine what's okay and what's not. And you know what? That might actually be good for freedom of speech, because I will say Mark Zuckerberg is a pretty terrible guy. He started off the way he started off before Facebook was with this app in college at Harvard, where basically they would put someone's picture up there and you would determine if they were attractive or not.
Right.
And that's how he started his.
Well, that thing is, that game existed on Facebook. I don't know if you remember this, guys, but it was called Hotness.
Oh,
and you
wow.
put your picture. Do you remember that?
I do kind of remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I played it as a teenager, so am I part of this? Like, was I supporting this?
You created the
how old
monster.
are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
90.
90. Okay, so yeah, Facebook. Facebook.
So young.
I couldn't do Facebook as a teenager because Facebook was originally only for colleges.
Right.
And it wasn't until my second year of college when they opened Facebook up to everybody.
But it wasn't even special anymore. You were already in college. Now all the high schoolers are on.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I was so upset because my first year of college, I
You're
was
like, yay, I get to be on Facebook now.
Oh, yeah. Well, so for year one of college, I went to WCCC. It's Westmoreland County Community College, and they were not recognized by Facebook. They were not an official college according to Facebook. They didn't exist. So I
when
couldn't
your college is irrelevant. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I couldn't get on Facebook, and all of my friends were joining Facebook, and I was left without it, and I was so frustrated. I'm like, I want to be on Facebook with all of my friends. So I left WCCC, and I went to Cal U, and Cal U was recognized by Facebook, and I thought, now, finally I can get a Facebook with all of my friends.
God.
And that's the year that they opened it up to everybody.
Cal
So it didn't matter.
That is hilarious.
Right? I'm like, what the hell?
Oh my god.
I just wanted to be with the cool kids, and then as soon as I was, it was no longer.
I was one of those high
Cool thing
schoolers
to
that came
do.
and crashed your party.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like thinking, man.
I was one of the ones that, well, this was before social media, but it made me think about it. I joined a sport in high school just so I can be in the yearbook.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's all I did. I just wanted to be in the yearbook.
That's hilarious.
that's funny.
I joined a sport that didn't take much, so I mean, I sucked at.
What was it? You gonna call him out?
I'm like the black guy that you would think is good at football and basketball. No, I sucked at both of them. I was on the wrestling team.
Wrestling team's pretty cool.
It's kind of it's the only thing that was challenging.
Not Jay's wrestling team.
Was the workout. I mean,
Yeah,
my God,
that's what I'm saying.
Running for miles and stuff, and all the heavy lifting and all that. I wish I could do that. That way, I'd be so much more limber now. But that's the only thing I got out of it. I never won a match. Well, no, I won one. My first match. That was the only one I won. So I'm like,
That should have gave you a little bit of an ego boost, but no.
Oh my
It's
God.
downhill from there.
Woo, those were some tough white boys. I mean, I was bigger than them, but they were like skinny, but they were toned. So like, I'm like, as soon as the ref whistled, all of a sudden the dude picked me up. Next thing you know, I'm looking up at the ceiling. Next thing you know, I'm slammed down on the mat, and I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" And it ain't like pro wrestling where the ref counts 1, 2, 3. No, they slap it one time, boom, that's it.
You're
And
done.
You're done. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I went through the opposite thing. I just rejoined that club, and I've been like sore for days.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
glad that you
I joined
decided
the
to
group.
start toning up.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try that out. So it's my kind of club. See, I can't do the normal club. This club's great. You go in there, they've got towel service. They do your laundry for you. There's like razors you could shave while you're there. There's a hot tub. It's basically kind of like a resort.
I know, it sounds like a nice little spa
Yeah,
retreat
it's basically like a resort. So it doesn't really feel like you're working out.
From everything you're saying, it sounds like you're being pampered.
Then you could walk up. Yeah, it is. And everyone's there like, oh, Mr. Crawford, this way, Mr. Crawford. Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. You walk upstairs, and they have a beautiful bar that overlooks the city.
Would you like some agave juice, Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful. So that's my kind of gym. So.
Oh, you would hate my gym. As soon as you come in, it just stinks.
That's
But
a man's gym.
But that's the
Yeah,
man's gym.
mine is,
That's the smell of hard work and getting it in.
Yeah, mine's. Go ahead.
And
I
sticky
have this
draws.
thing where I believe that nobody should be paying for exercise. So I want to like prove it. I haven't yet because
No.
I still look exactly the same from running around my own house. But I
Lucky
think I
you.
can prove it. I think I can prove
Yeah,
it.
good luck with
All you
that.
have to do is move.
It's true. Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm not like terribly unfit because I do move nonstop. I walk everywhere except for when it gets to like 20 degrees like it is now. So I'm doing a little bit more of the car. But usually, like on my days off, if it's above 45, I'll spend the entire weekend. I'll bus and walk everywhere, even though I have a car.
That's nice for the environment. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to do it. I mean, the only place I really have to drive is to work, because for me to get to work, the bus system here in Millville is just horrendous. So it's a little bit challenging.
I'm probably gonna take an Uber from here.
Yeah. So I do. I try to walk everywhere, especially walking. I prefer to walk over busing. I'll walk to Lawrenceville. If it's really nice in the summer and I'm not so pressed for time, I'll walk downtown. I'll walk to downtown Pittsburgh. And do things.
This is how I'm going to stay fit in LA. I'm just going to walk to all my destinations 50 miles away.
Yeah,
good luck
all that walking, that sounds real good. I'm on board with that, but not until winter is over.
Yeah.
Because winter is here.
It's here.
Dude, there's so many free dance videos on YouTube. I just rock out in my room. Nobody knows. I have the best time. I'm dancing with myself.
If you record that,
I have a YouTube show. Okay. I just might.
Yeah, I was saying, just do it. You're gonna bump up your subscribers like that.
I was thinking, I'm like, can I put together all of my favorite dance moves? And now when I say I dance, I mean I can't dance, but I like to dance.
You like to.
So it's fun. At least I'm enjoying myself.
I guarantee you that your subscribers will go up if you dance in front of your.
I need some cuter exercise outfits because for now it's like high school T-shirts and
just put on some
pajama pants.
Just take one of the shirts, cut it in half, show a little bit of your stomach.
That's how it goes.
Put on some drawers and wear some socks all the way up to your knees, and you'll be fine.
That sounds like a bad Halloween costume.
And I guarantee you, there's
I know.
Plenty of your followers look like that.
Real quick though.
How overtime?
I want to remind everybody we are over time, but that's all right. We're gonna speed through here at the end. I just want to remind everybody: learn how to live out loud in your life with Jim Ellermeyer on Fishing Without Bait. Jim takes you on a journey of full impact mindfulness as he chats with practitioners and artists about the way they live their best life. Listen right here on the River's Edge Sundays at 9:30 a.m. or check out Fishing Without Bait at fishingwithoutbait.com.
Awesome.
Jay, what do you have coming up this week?
Tomorrow night is the Downtown Stand-Up Comedy Showcase, my first produced show, my first show that I'm doing.
Oh, this is your show.
Yeah, Fantastic. This is my show. The creative director gave me the power to put my own show together, and it's going down tomorrow night at the Arcade Comedy Theater. 9 o'clock tomorrow, $12 cover, BYOB.
That's great.
Y'all need to come out to that. We got a great cast of comics. My man Howie D. Mack, who just came out of the hospital from.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. For those who don't know, Howie had a heart attack over the weekend and got a couple stints in, but he's moving around. He's doing fine. He's doing great, and he will be performing tomorrow.
That's incredible.
He will be in there. Yeah, that's right. He's a fighter. That's my dude. That's my dog. Woo! So yeah, Howie D. Mack. We got Sean Parker, the first place winner from the Pittsburgh Improv Comedy Contest. We got Chrissy Costa. We got Paige Pelesnik, and then our headliner, fresh out of Detroit, Miss Ronnie Chanel. She's gonna kill it. She's gonna kill it.
That sounds exciting.
And I'm hosting, so that's like enough to get y'all to come out just for that.
What time does that start?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock tomorrow.
What time does it run till?
I'd say probably about 11.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'll be at Hambones myself that same night hosting another event, and that's gonna be.
We're both hosting. Come out to both.
That's gonna be that's the thing. It's List Victories Victory Variety Review. I'll be hosting.
Nice.
It's got Vincent DiDiano of P.O. Vincent.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Yeah, it'll have Liz Tripoli. Obviously, List Victory will be there with Victory at the Crossroads and Dawn Strange Music. So there's going to be a lot of great stuff there. So I would suggest coming to mine first and then going to yours, only because mine starts earlier than yours and yours runs later than mine. So you can
make a night out of it.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You can make it to both. So
yes.
So that's the only reason why I'm saying come to mine first, because otherwise you're not going to be able to make it.
Like you
both.
Literally only have to take the 87, I think, and you'll be there.
Exactly. So that's perfect.
You heard it.
Yeah.
So, Jess, is there anything you want to push besides the new show and everything that you're doing?
Honestly, the way I run things, everything's connected to my name. So you Google me,
yeah,
which my friends make fun of me for, because I once made these business cards that didn't have any information on it, just had a picture of my face, and you turned it over and said, "Just effing Google me."
That's incredible.
Yeah, but yeah, and so because that's what you need to get to these days. Just to get to Googleable heights, just so that's all you need.
That's right.
Well, that's why we do a similar thing here with the River's
Yeah.
Edge. Everything is at River's Edge PGH. River's Edge PGH everywhere. The Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all of it.
So if you want to get to know more, that's it.
Oh, shout out to the band, the Hedonistic Bots, who was
Hedonism
on our
Bots.
Hedonism. My fault. I said hedonistic, didn't I?
I mean, he's
Hedonism
wearing the
Bots.
shirt, so he can't really read it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, they were on our show a couple of weeks ago, and they're performing at the Funhouse tonight, and I'm going to be there as soon as the show is over. So, yes, I'm going to go down there and check them out.
Yeah, they were in studio, a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, about 2-3 weeks ago, And they killed it, so I'm going to see them tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
So check that out. It's going to be right across the courtyard, right here at Mr. Smalls. Thanks so much to Jess Paul for coming in.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Good luck with everything you have going on. Thanks to Jaye Cooper, my co-host, to Brent Conley, our producer. I'm Brian Crawford. Thank you so much for tuning in, and best wishes to Need's Hotel. Hopefully somebody buys it and brings it back. We're going to end one more time with Down on My Knees at Need's Hotel.
Enjoy it, Janelle. Later, bitches.
Alone.
So I hitched a ride to Morningside with a fiddler from Point Breeze. Took the shortcut up through Stanton Heights. Then I got up this morning and walked back down that hill and wandered through today until tonight.
And now I'm down on my knees at Neid's Hotel again, praying for the strength to stay alone, praying for the grace to heed the truth I know so well. Down on my knees at Neid's Hotel.